going on, everybody out there? This is Popular Stranger, and we are back at you again today with another MLB 21 The Show Diamond Dynasty video. This coming Friday, we got a brand new roster update coming to the show, the last one before the All-Star break. And as always, this is going to present us with an opportunity to make a lot of stubs. Now, I'm going to give you two very quick disclaimers before we get into the roster predictions. Number one, we're probably never going to see ever again what happened last week, or last roster update, I should say. So if you guys don't know, every other Friday we get a roster update and players' overalls on their live series cards change. And a lot of times if they change overalls, especially tiers like silver to gold or gold to diamond, there's a lot of stubs to be made. We had a record-breaking roster update 2 weeks ago. I think it was 10 players in total went from gold to diamond. There were 200 or 300 something players that changed overalls, and it was insane. And after doing all my research for this week, it's just not going to be the same. It's not even going to be close. Also, in the video, we're going to talk about players that are switching tiers. I think that's the most profitable way to make stubs off of the roster update. Yes, there's going to be players out there like Trey Turner, right? He's an 87 overall diamond. I think maybe he gets bumped up to an 88. We're not going to spend time talking about that or other players like that because there's just not many stubs involved to be made right there. It's a very minimal upgrade. We're focusing on players that are going silver to gold, gold to diamond, because we can make stubs off of those. You can find the roster update in the bottom right part of your home screen in the Diamond Dynasty menus. Again, this Friday, this will all update, but we will go right down to roster update, and it's going to go through and show you all of the players that went from whatever overall to overall. And of course, players can get downgraded. Like Garrett Cole's a guy, if you got him right now and you might want to sell him, because he's more than likely going to get downgraded from the 92 overall that he has. But we want to focus on making you stubs here. So let's go ahead and talk about some players that can do so. Now, I brought up David Fletcher's name in last video, or the last video 2 weeks ago, because I think he's a guy that could potentially go from a 79 overall, which he's at right now, to at least an 80, which is a gold. And by doing so, that's going to change his quick sell value. So this is the primary thing we're going to focus on. I'll talk about it here if you guys haven't seen the other videos. Right now, David Fletcher, a silver card, is basically going for under 700 stubs. If he were to get upgraded to a gold card in 80 overall, his quick sell value will then be 1,000 stubs. So that means if and when this were to happen, every card you buy right now is a 300 stub profit. And I'm going to keep saying this. A lot of people probably are going to say it's not a lot of subs, 300. When you buy a large amount of these cards, it quickly adds up. And we'll see that from the same thing going from gold to diamond. I made probably 500,000 to 600,000 stubs off of the last roster update. I don't think it's going to be that good this time around, but I need to drill this point home here that a 300 stub profit is good. It's a good thing here, and when you can do it multiple times, it's so easy to do. It all adds up, trust me. Now, I would say my confidence level of David Fletcher getting an upgrade this time around is about a 7 out of 10. But let's take a look at the numbers here. So this is what he looks like in game right now. It is 79 overall. He has a 295 batting average on the season with 93 hits. 93 hits is number 11 in all of baseball. I want to focus on his contact rating. In real life right now, he's hitting 333 against left-handed pitching. In game, he has 84 contact against lefties. So that's pretty good, but I'm going to talk about a different player and comparing him to a different player in a moment, why I think that should still be bumped up. IRL, he has a 280 average against righties, 70 contact against righties in game. I feel like that could be bumped up just a little bit, not a ton, but he's been hot as of late, right? 344 batting average in June, 391 in July. Very small sample size in July right now, but he is trending upwards, and that's why I brought him up in the last video. Since then to now, 2 weeks later, he's continued to, go up. So I got a feeling we could see him get bumped up to an 80 overall. I think the thing that's working for him, right, his power numbers are not going anywhere. He has 1 home run on the entire season. But the thing that works well for this card, we saw this with Tyler O'Neill, is that he already has diamond defense. So just the slightest upgrade, the slightest bump in his contact on left and righties, and maybe even his vision goes up a little bit. He's not striking out a ton. that could get him to a silver hitting, and that could be enough to get him. Again, the Diamond defense pretty much has carried him to a 79 overall. That silver hitting could get him enough to get him up to an 80 overall, and then we're talking about a lot of profit to be made. So we're going to stick with the Angels and talk about Jared Walsh, who a lot of people have asked me over the last couple weeks, can Jared Walsh go Diamond? I'm going to talk about him here, but I don't believe he will. But I want to focus on his contact against righties. He's hitting .337 against righties, okay? And in game, his contact against righties is 100. Remember, I just talked about David Fletcher hitting .334 against righties. I believe it was righties, correct? My apologies, against lefties. But here's my point I'm making. Fletcher, .333 batting average against lefties. His contact against lefties is an 84, whereas Jared Walsh has a .337 average against righties, 4-point difference. Not a huge difference, but his contact is 100. There's a pretty big difference between a contact 84 versus 100 there. So I know they're different sides of the plate, but the point that I'm getting at is I feel like David Fletcher, making my case for him again, his contact against lefties should be bumped up. But let's talk about Jared Walsh here now. He's .279 on the season, 86 hits, 20 home runs. So he's hitting pretty well contact here. He's getting on base with the 86 hits and 20 home runs. The power numbers are good. The reason I don't think he will go Diamond is because of his splits right now. He's hitting 165 against lefties. He has 20 home runs on the season. 5 of those home runs are against left-handed pitching. His contact against lefties is 38, and I think that's kind of reflective of what he's doing in real life, 165. His contact against righties in game, 100. We talked about that. Batting average against righties IRL is .337. That all feels about right. His power against righties is a 94. And remember, 15 of his 20 home runs are against right-handed, so that feels right. His power against lefties is a 74, 5 out of 20 home runs against left-handed pitching. It just all feels like it's where it's supposed to be. I don't think you're going to see an upgrade in his speed or his stealing or his fielding stats. So I think Jared Walsh stays put, but I wanted to bring him up because I think a lot of people think he might go Diamond because he's hitting right-handed pitching so well, and I think his splits are going to stop him from doing that. Now, if you want to disagree with me, that's totally cool and totally understandable. If you think somehow he's going to start hitting better against left-handed pitching and it's going to be enough to bump him up to a Diamond, a lot of good room for investing here. I mean, at 3.6K, if he goes to Diamond, that's about 1.4K on every card that you invest in at this price. But again, I personally will not be doing it. I think all of the cards that I have of his simply came from pulling them out of packs. I'll hang on to them, but I just don't think it's going to happen. So let's move over to the Royals here and talk about Salvador Perez. I have not invested in this card, and I honestly wasn't on the Perez is going to get an upgrade train at all until this morning. I would still say my confidence level on this one is a 7 out of 10, maybe 6 out of 10. But if we take a look at Perez, he is well under 4,000 subs, 3.4. So if you were to buy this card and he gets Diamond upgrade, that's about a 1.5K profit on every single card that you buy, assuming that were to happen. I'm going to make a case for him, but I'm still not going to invest in him. Salvador Perez, 281 batting average on the season, 94 hits, which is number 9 in baseball, right above David Fletcher. He has 20 home runs, so he's hitting contact, or at least getting on base, 20 home runs. He's got decent power there. 281 average, not bad at all. Here's the thing, 360 batting average IRL against lefties, that's 75 in game. 254 batting average against righties IRL, in game 77. So those numbers need to change very quickly. And 360 batting average against lefties, 75. Not only does that need to be bumped up, but I mean, that's got to be in the 80s, right? 85, 86, somewhere around there. Now, can they tune down his contact against righties? It's at 77 now. They probably should. Is that bump in contact against lefties enough to get him all the way to a Diamond? I just don't think so yet. Now, take a look at some other numbers here. These are reflective of IRL, I think, but they could still be more balanced. 20 home runs on the season. 11 of them against left-handed pitching. His power against left-handers is 92, so that's pretty spot on. Could maybe even be downgraded a little bit, but 9 home runs out of 20, so 11 versus left, 9 versus right. 70 power in game. So I feel like he's almost even, right, on home runs against left and right-handed pitching, yet his power is very, very different. 92 against lefties, 70 against righties. The one thing that might hinder this card is he has 91 strikeouts on the season. That's number 12 in all of baseball. His vision isn't great already, but could they tune that down? I'm not sure. I think the biggest question here, Salvador Perez, is that 360 average against left-handed pitching enough to, number one, bump that contact against lefties at 75 up into the high 80s? And if so, even doing that, is that enough to get him to a diamond? I'm just not confident, but I still think he could get a diamond card before the season ends. We might just have to wait 2 more weeks. Now with this next card, I'll be totally upfront with you. I jumped on the Ozzie Albies upgrade train blindly. I didn't really look. I just saw everybody talking about him, and I kind of followed the crowd. And right now, I have 56 of these cards, so we're not really turning back right here. 56 of them, 55 I can sell, and I bought a lot of them at like 3.6, 3.7K during that 50% off pack sale that was going on over the holiday weekend. So hopefully, and if he does go diamond, we're looking at like 275,000 stubs off of this card alone if we quick sell them. And if you take a look at the price, he's going up as if a lot of people are saying this in their videos and a lot of people are investing him in. It's definitely trending that way. And he had a great July, don't get me wrong, but I'm still just a little nervous that he's going to be stuck at an 84 overall. Now, the good thing with this card is he has gold hitting and gold defense, so the defense is helping him. If they can bump him up to diamond hitting, that should be enough to get him to a diamond overall card. I'm just not 100% confident it's going to happen, but like I said, it's too late. I can't turn back now. On the season, only a 263 batting average. That's what really, really scared me. In June, he was crazy though, right? June, 321 batting average, 36 hits, 6 home runs, so he played very well. July, again, very small sample size, but he's not off to the greatest start in July. IRL, 333 batting average against lefties. In the game, he has a 90 contact against them, so that represents IRL in my opinion. 240 batting average against righties. IRL in the game, 53 contact. I feel like that's kind of where it needs to be, okay? Now, power is a little bit different. 6 home runs against left-handed pitching. He has 90 power in game against left-handed pitching. 9 home runs, so that's more than 6 if I'm good at math here. 9 home runs against righties, only 55 power in game. So those numbers need to be switched. Maybe not switched, but 55 power, 9 home runs, I just don't feel like that represents very well. So if anything, they need to bump up that power against righties, and also I'm going to make a case that his 333 average against lefties, having a 90 contact, is another reason why I'm going to go back to David Fletcher, why I think David Fletcher should and could go gold. Because a 90 contact with a 333 average, remember David Fletcher had a 330 average against lefties. His contact in game is only an 84. So, you know, I'm just comparing the two. It could be apples and oranges. I don't know. But Ozzie Albies, like I said, no turning back now. Hopefully he goes diamond. I'll have a lot of stubs if he does. If he doesn't, could be in trouble. Last batter we're going to talk about in this video, and again, don't expect a ton of updates compared to the last roster update this time around, and also we're only focusing on players that might be switching tiers. So yes, there are going to be other players that might get a +1 or +2 here or there, but it's not going to be enough to move the market. We're going to talk about Hunter Renfro. I'll be honest, it's another one I kind of blindly jumped on. I feel okay. I feel confident, like an 8 out of 10 on this one. 79 overall silver. If he goes gold, that's going to make his quick sell value 1,000. And that means that it's still not too late to get in on this if you want to. This is about a 200 stub profit on every card that you would buy at basically 800 stubs. When he goes gold, quick sell for 1,000. 200 stubs. Buy a bunch of cards, it adds up. As you can see right now, we have 61 of these, 60 that we would be able to quick sell. So here's a quick 60K from this Hunter Renfro card. Let's take a look at his numbers on the season. So I think one thing that helps him, we talked about this with David Fletcher, he already has diamond defense in game. So we just need to bump up that hitting a little bit to get him to gold hitting. That should get him to a gold card in game. On the season, batting average, not pretty. Actually, the same as Ozzie Albies at 263. So 263 batting average on the season. In June, he heated up. He went 295 batting average in June. And again, I'm going to say it small sample size. In July, he's hitting 150. So off to a rough start in July. IRL 313 average against left-handed pitching. That's 84 contact in game. Seems about right. Okay, again, I'm going to make the case for David Fletcher, who has a 333 average against lefties. His contact in game is 84. Hunter Renfro has an 84 contact with a lower batting average against lefties. Moving on, 242 batting average against righties, 42 contact. That almost seems like it's a little bit low, but also good at the same time, or accurate at the same time. The power numbers is where I think Renfro will get an adjustment, and if he does, that should bump him up to a gold. 5 home runs on the season against lefties, 8 home runs on the season against righties. In game against lefties, 95 power. In game against righties, 69 power. So he's hitting more home runs against right-handed pitching, yet his power numbers in the game are much, much less. And Renfro's always been known for a guy who absolutely dominates left-handed pitching. The fact that he's hitting home runs against righties, bump up that 69 power into the mid-70s, and I think that's enough to get him up to a gold card where he already has diamond defense. So now let's move on to some pitchers, and this one I kind of stumbled upon, I'm not going to lie. Tyler Malay, I think I pronounced his name right. I'm not investing in him yet, but I definitely think he has the potential to go gold, and right now, if he does, if you get on this one early and he continues to trend upwards like I hope he does, could be a very, very, very profitable card at this pricing. But again, I don't think he gets an upgrade this week. I'm going to keep my eye out on him. 3.63 ERA on the season. Not great, not bad either. 112 strikeouts, 31 walks, 222 batting average, and he's allowed 12 home runs in 89.1 innings. So I think those are all really solid numbers. One guy to compare him to is Chris Bassett from the Oakland A's, who has a gold card in game. I think they have very similar IRL stats, and the numbers, the attributes in game just don't reflect or compare the same to Chris Bassett. Ks per 9 is 72. Remember, he's got 112 strikeouts on the season. Ks per 9, 72. That could go up a little bit as long as he continues to strike people out. Home runs per 9 is a 57 in game, and he's allowed 12 home runs on the season. Not good, but or not bad, but not great either. Walks per 9 is a 59 in game, and he's walked 31 people, very similar to Chris Bassett, who has a higher walks per 9 in the game. And then hits per 9 is a 79, which I think is pretty reflective of how he's doing. 222 batting average. All in all, I'm going to say Tyler Malay, I would keep an eye out on this card. Don't heavily invest in him right now, but if he continues to kind of keep these numbers in the same area that they're at right now as the innings increase, I think he could go gold. So now let's move on to Freddy Peralta, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if he goes diamond here, he could be the third pitcher for the Brewers that started the season gold and went diamond. I know Corbin Burns was one. I don't remember if Woodruff started the season as a diamond pitcher, but Freddy Peralta having a fantastic season, and I think he might go diamond as well. If you're trying to invest in him, it's not too late. If he goes diamond, 5,000 quick sell value. He's about 4,000 stubs right now, so you're looking at 1,000 stub profit on every card that you buy. I didn't invest in him, and I don't know if I'm going to. I think I'm still just a little scared. I can't convince myself for some reason, but the numbers all add up. I mean, 2.23 ERA. He has 129 strikeouts. His batting average against is 132, and he has 42 walks. I think the biggest thing that he could see an upgrade in here, he's given up 9 home runs on the season. His home runs per 9 in game is a 66. If we compare him to his teammate Woodruff has also allowed 9 home runs on the season. Now, granted, it was in 107 innings versus Peralta's 93 innings, but Woodruff's home runs per 9 is a 71, and again, Peralta's is a 66. Is that number of innings, which it's over 10, a big enough difference here? I think Peralta could get bumped up to at least the 70s in his home runs per 9. And then everything else is really good. I mean, the walks aren't great, but they're not bad. 129 strikeouts is a lot. 2.23 ERA is really good. Batting average against 132, really good. I think he's going to go diamond. I'm just too scared to invest, and honestly, I don't know why. And the last card to finish out the video, Ryan Presley, reliever, closing pitcher for the Houston Astros, who just in general have been on a tear. When we talk about them, I mean, Alvarez might get an upgrade, Brantley might get an upgrade, Yuli Gurriel might go to an 88 overall. They're all playing very, very well. I don't know if they're cheating again or not. We'll have to wait and see if that happens, if anybody finds trash cans anywhere. But Ryan Presley also had a very impressive June for the Astros, and he could go from a 79 silver to an 80 overall gold. If so, it's still not too late to get in. We're looking at a little under a 200 stub profit on every card that you buy. I only have 11 of these right now. I'm still not drinking the Kool-Aid fully, but this is kind of like Freddy Peralta, where I'm trying to convince myself, and I don't know why I'm not able to go forward and do this. I think I'm just a little hesitant, a little nervous, but I think the numbers add up IRL. He's 15 out of 16 in save opportunities this season, 1.50 ERA, which is really good for a reliever, 1.86 or 0.186 batting average against, which is really good, and in 36 innings pitched total, he's only allowed 9 hits, which is really good. I think the one thing that we should really see a bump in here, this is kind of like Craig Kimbrell, which we saw 2 weeks ago, is that he's only allowed 1 home run the entire season. 36 innings pitched, 1 home run, yet his home runs per 9 is a 68. I feel like that should be somewhere in the 70s or so, and I can actually do a really good comparison with him in the same division, another card that could get upgraded, but I'm not going to invest in him, and that's Ozzie Iglesias. He might go gold. It's another one you can take your chances on if you want to, and if you do, I mean, he's got profit to be made right here, about 100, 250, a little bit more, give or take. 250 stub profit on every card that you buy if you go golds. That means he's going to quick sell for 1,000 stubs. But I want to take a look at the same exact thing with him versus Presley, is that Iglesias has allowed 9 home runs, right, on the season in 39 innings pitched, and his home run per 9 is a 67. So I want to say that again if you didn't catch that. They pretty much have the same number of innings pitched. I guess for a closer, 3-inning difference is kind of big, but it's not huge, right? Presley, 36 innings pitched, 1 home run allowed. Iglesias, 39 innings pitched, 9 home runs allowed. And they basically have the same home run per 9 rating. Iglesias is 67, Presley is 68. That's an 8 home run difference in 3 innings, with only 1 attribute difference separating the two. Presley's home runs per 9 needs to be in the 70s, and if it is, I think that's enough to get him to a gold card. And if he gets to a gold card, he's going to be very profitable because you can quick sell him for 1,000 stubs. Also, don't forget, with all of these cards, you can put in a bunch of buy orders under quick sell value right before the roster update takes place. If they don't get updated, you can cancel those. If they do, you can leave them in there and potentially make a ton of stubs. We'll use Gurriel as an example here. This card quick sells for 5,000 subs, but there was a lot of smart people out there that put in a ton of orders well under quick sell value right before he got upgraded, and now people are selling these cards to these people who are smart enough. We did this last roster update where Ramil Tapia with Trevor Rogers and a bunch of other players that made a ton of stubs. Definitely something I'm going to be doing right before the roster update drops this Friday. So that's all we got for today's video, but we got another one coming later today. Player of the Month program comes out later this afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern time. We'll have a video on that and how to get your free Player of the Month cards. My name is Popular Stranger. I'm out. Peace.